Warning.
You are now tuned in to 7 Mile Radio.
MSD Production.
7 Mile Radio.
Ladies and gentlemen, your host, Mr. Detroit, on the Detroit Stand Up Podcast. How y'all doing out there on this rainy, dreary? I'm gonna go ahead and speak life into nephew Justin. I need to make sure nephew Justin's prom send-off go off beautifully. I pulled up. The whip was looking good. He was looking handsome. The young lady was looking gorgeous as usual. You know, sisters always looking gorgeous and everything. So I need Justin to come on back home peacefully. Everything gonna go smooth. The prom gonna be beautiful, and he gonna get this money, man. He gonna get this money. I got about this is my first send off. I got about 10 more prom send off. I got to go to this year because it's a lot of kids that I know that's graduating this year, including my daughter. And her whole crew graduating. And by me being the best daddy in the world, I got to go see my babies off and everything. I got to go speak life into them and everything. And then my stepdaughter, which is like my daughter, she graduated from Wayne State 2 weeks ago. And when I tell you the name of the show is Understanding, man, being a stepdad, or I never called myself a stepdad because I always was the daddy. I took on the role of being the daddy because I ain't no step to nobody. But me being a father to somebody else that's not my child, Mark, I hated it, man. I hated it because my teaching on how I go about teaching and growing and speaking life and building little girls up, which is like my baby. Courtney was like the first baby that I came into, and I was one of the dudes, as I said, I will never date a woman with any children. And come to find out, I fell in love with somebody that had a child, and I had to go through the trials and tribulations, and with no handbook, and that shit was hard. Now you hear stories about it and everything, but it's just certain stuff that I had to just walk through. And so, you know, I had to walk through with people like Bert, people like Jerome, people like Abdul that had children and understood it. I never understood it. And so Courtney graduate, Mark, and this real life. Courtney graduates, man, and this is hard. This is heart to heart. She graduates at Wayne State. Did 5 years. Walked it down. Nobody believed in her, except me and you know, my wife. A lot of people just wrote her off. She graduated and everything. So as she comes out with her with her diploma and everything, dude, the dude that had Courtney walks up to her and say, so what are we gonna do now? I mean, are you hyped? What's the next move? He was like, well, you know, we got to make a move because, you know, we gonna do this, we gonna do that and everything. Mark, this nigga turns to Courtney and said, I finally can spend my real money. Like, those are the words of encouragement that you, and I'm like, what did you say? He was like, man, I mean, I can spend my real money now. And I'm like, dude, I say, man, that you got to be the dumbest motherfucker today on this campus talking like this. We talking about money. We talking about a young baby did something that majority of people don't do, an accomplishment that she can put on her hat and say, I accomplished it. And the first thing you say is money. I'm like, dude, that's what you say about, we talking about money. He like, yeah, what's wrong with that? I say, man, you got to be the dumbest nigga, or you out of touch with people. I say, man, I'm out the car because I can't deal with this nigga. And so, you know, My daughter like, daddy, don't do that. I'm like, I'm out because I can't deal with this bullshit right here. I can't deal with this dumb, ignorant bullshit right here. And this dude is highly educated. But you know, you can be highly educated, but you don't know how to use your words. You don't know how to encourage people. You educated, but you say some dumb shit. And that was him. I say, man, you got to be out your mind. This is what you say to a little girl. And maybe she didn't understand it. And as I'm walking away, she was like, where you going? I'll be at the car. So we get in the car. I'm like, this what y'all do? Y'all let this shit ride? Well, that's him. See, they're accustomed to doing that. I mean, they're used to him doing that dumb shit. And I ain't seen this dude in like almost like 15 years, almost 10 to 15 years, Mark. I can't remember the last time I seen this dude. And for the first time you see me and that's what you say right then and there. I say, wow, man. Wow. And this is the type of, and you know, and especially on social media, I stay away from personal stuff. I don't let people know my business because it ain't none of their damn business to know what's going on. But I put that quote out there. I said as a parent or a co-parenting, how they use the word co-parenting, stepfather, I hated all that shit. Because I always looked at Courtney was like mine, and I built Courtney up to be mine. And whenever she would leave for the summertime and go with him, I resented it. And I'm talking about I resented that shit for almost like, when I met Courtney, she was 4. And when she started dealing with him, it was like 8 years old. So from 4 to 8, he never was around. And so when he started seeing me build her up, then that's when he wanted to be involved in her life and everything. He started showing up and everything. And I never wanted him to be a part of it. Like I'm like, dude, I don't need you no more, nigga. Go ahead. This my baby now. But you know how little girls is. They want to be with their daddy. And in my mind, I'm like, nigga, that's not I'm your daddy. I'm harsh. Fuck that nigga. That nigga don't know your bra size. That nigga ain't never washed you up. That nigga ain't never prayed for you. He didn't do none of that shit. Fuck this nigga. Write this nigga off. But you know, little girls is different. Little girl, that's the way I wanted to be. And it was up to me. I should have did what this gentleman told me. He was like, once you get this young lady is in your life, change her name to Brown so she can be a Brown. And but listen to my mama, listen to, my auntie, don't be like that and everything. I should have listened to what my man was saying. But, Courtney is beautiful now. She's doing her thing. Mad love to her. And everything she doing right now is lining up. It's lining up, and she's shining, man. She's shining, and and that's because of me and my wife and everything. So mad love to her and everything. So but understanding, Mark, I hated being that dude. And some dudes can some dudes can rock with that. Some dudes can deal with that and everything. I couldn't. It was a hard task for me to deal with and everything. And and that's it, man. That's it. And you got Mother's Day coming up. Sunday, the same usual, the same Happy Mother's Day. What you doing? This the same old bullshit, man. The same. I mean, when we celebrate Mother's Day, like what for some people that just celebrate Mother's Day, like what is your biggest thing that you do for your mother that you should be doing all year round? Like you finna get this one day that somebody dedicated this one day, just of being that's your mother. Now Mother's Day for me is every day. It just ain't one day. So when people tell me how to celebrate my mother on this day, I don't even do that. I go the other way. Matter of fact, I skip over that day. Like Mother's Day is Sunday. I start celebrating my mother on Monday. I stay away from everybody else. Because everybody doing the same thing. Everybody going out to eat. Everybody going to buy some flowers that's going to die the next day. You're going to get a card that eventually they're going to throw it away. You gonna give her some money. She gonna spend it, and then you got to give her back some money. So I mean, what we doing the same thing every.
But see, I don't like that's the thing right there, right? I mean, it's not about the gifts that
Right.
you give it, right? Mm-hmm. So don't make it about that. That's just like about, you know, even though we feel how we feel about Christmas and other holidays, right? It's not about the gifts that are given. It's about what we're celebrating, or the, you know what I mean. In this case, the person that we're celebrating. So it's not about, you know, the whole repetitious situation, the whole repetitious cycle of giving gifts, the same gifts over and over, and how much those gifts should be cared about.
Right.
Like now you're putting the value of the whole day on the gift as opposed to the mother.
Right.
Like Mother's Day ain't about the gifts. You know what I mean? It's about the mothers.
Right.
So it's really about how you celebrate your mother, man. It's not about just giving a gift just for the sake of Mother's Day. You know what I'm saying?
That's why I just skip the day. I make sure because after a while, like I'm at work.
So, so is that to say that there's nothing to celebrate for you, or what? Like,
I mean, today was when I saw my mother.
it's nothing different than any other day.
Any
what
other
you
day.
said.
It's
And I get you.
It's like loving every day.
I get you.
They want to and I watch how certain people celebrate Mother's Day when they go all out.
So what you're talking about more so is how people overemphasize
Yeah.
on this day as opposed to, you know, like that day is actually something special versus any other day in regards to treating your mother special.
Right.
Is what you're saying.
Right, and that's where I'm like the glitch. I'm like I break tradition on that because I don't want to be following everybody else. So if everybody's celebrating Sunday, I'm not gonna celebrate Sunday because I ain't gonna be one of them simp dudes
Do it
that
just to do it because everybody else is
doing
doing
it.
it right
Yeah.
now.
And that's what they doing, man. That's what they doing. All the restaurants gonna be doing. And then you see that you 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, you doing the same thing every year. Like, damn, my boy, you ain't thinking at all. It's crazy, man. It's crazy. So, mad love to all the mothers that's out there. I love y'all and everything. But every day is Mother's Day. Every day is Mother's Day. The gas station on 6 Mile, is it 6 Mile?
What it do? 6 Mile and what was it? Lodge.
Lodge. Have you? And now, Mark, I remember when I was up on Dexter. The dude locked the door on Dexter, and I'll never forget. Lindsay was in there, and I asked him, like, dude, why you lock the door? He was like, man, because, they wilding and everything. I'm like, dude, but what if somebody was in there, and this was like maybe like 10 years ago. I'm like, what if somebody's in there with a gun and just went off and everything? This was the Chaldean told me, or the Arabic dude, whoever he was, Chaldean Arabic. He was like, well, I'm behind the glass. And Lord behold, look what happened the other day, man. I don't know. Somebody said it was like a scratch off. It was $3. I ain't even want to dig into that because it was just so much of a bad vibration that you in there. The dude was arguing over money or a scratch off.
It was a $3 scratch off or a $3 scratch off. Apparently that didn't hit. And he was in there arguing with the guy
That said it hit.
No, I guess I don't know if he wanted his money back. Because he bought a $3 scratch off. He scratched it off right there. He didn't hit. He got mad. Wanted his money back. I guess. And I'm not. And no, don't quote me.
And this was.
That's all.
What time was it? They said 3 a.m.
Something like that. It was
Okay.
like 2, late after 2, late after 2. You know what I'm saying? So.
Do you go in the gas stations 3, 4 in the morning, Mark? Or do you?
Very seldomly.
But you probably have gas stations like we just came from. Like you got different stores that people know you that you go
Most
into.
definitely. I'm not going into a formal gas station at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Even if I'm out, I'm gonna wait until I get back to my neighborhood.
Yeah.
If I need to go to the gas station, something before I need to. It's very seldom that I would need to go to the gas station for something that late.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
And then I guess I seen the interview with New Era Detroit showed up
Yeah.
at one of the gas stations. Mad love to my man. I mean, I don't care what he do. I like that provocative. Shut that shit down. talking heavy. Then you see the dude try to hug him. You see the dude, the Arabic dude. Because my man, I forgot, is his name Mark? I can't think his name, but
Yeah, he tried to hug. I seen him. He's like, hold on, whoa,
yeah,
whoa.
like man, we need to get some understanding before we do all this hugging, man.
Yeah.
And right now we ain't hugging. They was trying to open the gas station up, and then come to find out, the gas station was ran
without a license.
Now, Mark,
wasn't licensed.
let me ask you this, Mark. How many gas stations you think in the city of Detroit? Over 200?
Over 200. Come on.
In Detroit?
Yes, way over 200.
1,000?
Yeah.
Okay, just say 1,000.
We'll do that.
How many gas stations you think that's running without a license, Mark? Out of 1,000?
I'll say probably 250 of them. 25% of them.
Not 500. Not half.
Not half.
Okay,
I'll say at least 25% of them. At least 25% of them. Right? But now if you wanna consider this narrative, right, about the whole unlicensed thing, now we're talking about maybe liquor stores, right?
I was finna.
And other businesses that may not be licensed regulatory regulation wise, I'll say it like that, to be doing business in that area. Because I know for a fact, right? Here you go, man.
Wow. Yeah, but I'm listening.
On 7 Mile and Van Dyke, now I want you to notice this. There is 2 liquor stores directly across the street from each other.
On 7 Mile and
Van Dyke.
It is, Mark.
Nowhere else in the city of Detroit ever will you see that. And the reason why that is because
you're not supposed to have that, though, Mark.
You're not supposed to have 2 liquor stores that close. But the thing about it is, the only loophole about it, right, that I've heard is because both of those liquor stores was there before the law was passed, and neither one of them refused to sell their license. So they just allowed both of them to thrive.
And I thought it was like a zoning thing where you can't have that.
That's what I'm saying. So now when you consider that,
them liquor stores was there when you was little, Mark?
Man, them liquor stores been there since I was born. Wow. And nowhere else in Detroit where you see 2 liquor stores that close.
That's a fun fact, Mark. That's a fun fact. Like, I've never seen 2 liquor stores that close
directly across the street
from each other and be slapping. Them liquor stores on right there, Mark. Them joints be banging.
And then if you go the one that we just left, right, that's only 5 blocks south of Van Dyke from both of those.
Because if you look at the next liquor store,
then if you go to 7 Mile out of Drive, there's another.
That's a liquor store.
And you go to 7 Mile and Mount Elliott. I'm sorry. No, 7 Mile and Mound. I'm sorry, it's a liquor store. Not Mount Elliott.
Yeah.
The gas station on 7 Mile and Mount Elliott.
Yeah. And
I'm sorry, I be getting Mound and Mount Elliott mixed up all the time. 7 Mile and Mount Elliott is again right after the railroad tracks. And Mound.
I never looked at how the ratio, because if I'm looking at it on over there where I'm at, D&L is a liquor store right there on Davidson and Davidson and Livernois.
Like 5-block radius.
And they got a 5-block radius because the next liquor store is all the way down there at St. Cecilian. And then the next...
Every 5 blocks in Detroit, there's a liquor store, dog.
Wow. That's crazy,
every
man.
5 blocks of damn near every major street that you go on is a liquor store.
Now, let me ask you this. Is churches are allowed...
All of the churches are abandoned. A majority of the churches that you used to see maybe 10, 15 years ago
they
are
gone
abandoned now.
But the liquor stores are still standing.
Guess what? They turned them into halls, right? This one that was just a church right here on the court, right here on
right, yeah. And then you got to look at it like, you think some of the city council or state reps, I'm about to ask Bertie about this. Could they possibly be getting paid off from the liquor store? I mean, because, if they really want to do, just like with this gas station that had the incident with the gentleman being shot and everything. And
they probably, the city council reps probably have them, they probably privately invest okay, into their campaigns.
Heavily. Yeah.
Right. To help keep them in office. Right.
Yeah.
Because they get all kind of tax breaks
Right.
and shit like that.
Right. Yeah.
Because they foreign business owners. And they got money flowing through the, that's just, it's all a money game.
Yeah.
You know that?
Yeah. And I went to that, speaking of stores, I went to that place, the grocery store that's on Glendale and Linwood, the black lady that owns the store over there. I remember it being a barber shop. She told me that her family been owning that shop since, I think, 1980 or something like that. And when the Chaldeans was over there, her family rented it out to them, and when they had their little store right there, so now she has her grocery store, and you walk in, it's nice and everything, and the way she got it set up, she you could do lottery there, and I think you could do something else and everything, and she it's something that she's starting off with, just small. She don't have a whole bunch of fruit, but she got enough for that community that if you need something real quick, you go in and everything. And I asked, I'm like, was it hard to get started? She was like, yes. She had to sell her house, and she lived on the east side, off the water. It's a certain name. I can't think of the name. She said the name. I'm like, what is that? That's a suburb. She's like, no, it's the name of the community that's back over there off the water. I forgot the name of it. It's over there by the Manugian Mansion and everything. And so she said she sold her house, and she put another $200,000 into the grocery store, and that was her hard-earned money that she put in. And I was like, nobody tried. I mean, you couldn't get no help from the city council, nothing like that. She was like, nah, they told me that you don't know the right people. But then right down the street, it's a white lady that took the church and turned the church into a bar. I ain't never heard nobody turn the church into a bar. And she got funded from the city of Detroit. $2 million. I say, damn, man. Damn. First thing came to my mind, and this is just, should I say this is just a joke? I'm like, man, that's up in smoke down there all of a sudden, man.
Boy.
But Karen get the money and everything, and that's it's funny and everything. Did you know that California, apparently, I don't know how true it is, I just been reading, they passed a reparation law in California?
Yeah, I heard.
They said the black folks in the state of California might be getting $1.5 million a piece, and it's a lot of white folks that's mad, but California has stepped up and said, hey, listen, as a state and the way we've been treating black folks for all the years, their history, California stepped up and say, listen, we'll be the first person to say we fucked up. So let's get reparations. Now, I hope it goes through. I still, 1.5 ain't enough. My target, Mark. I need $10 billion, Mark. I need $10 billion to every black person in America, guy. But, so that means I wipe out everything I just said. But, Tariq was talking about that we have to make sure that we only give that money to black folks. Like, we got to make sure that it don't come into like a what did he say? Like a civil action or a civil rights, or stay away from racism, stay away from civil rights, stay away from anything that's dealing with where you can be manipulated with the wordplay. Because once you start talking about, when you start putting words in like what's that word that he used, that it's not class action lawsuit or anything like that, but when you start dealing with civil rights and putting other people into it, that's when you start losing. So he was saying, make sure that the people that's in America that's been living here get that money. Because if not, you're going to have some Native Americans try to slide in there, some Asian Americans try to slide in there, some Arabics going to try to slide in there. And you know me, the money need to be going on to only the black folks. So, California is the first state to do that, and I pray that they get it done and everything. Don't let me get my money. I'm out. I'm out this raggedy motherfucker. I'm leaving America.
I was just talking to my friend on Facebook who is traveling in Europe right now, and she was just telling me about how she sees no fat people over there. Everybody is, majority of people riding bikes, and just the difference in the people and their just the weight over there in Europe. Now we talking about Europe now, so really ain't gonna see no fat people over there. But and I know how you feel about Europe, but all I'm just saying is the differences in just the lifestyle,
right,
and the culture in different countries and how we are put in a box as far as what we eat, what we're supposed to look like, what we're supposed to like. Everything about this country is kind of
Europeanized.
Well, that's not what I was going for, but it's more so just it's just like in a box. I would say. Yeah. We're very limited in our choice. They say we're land of the free and all of that type of shit, but we're very limited as far as access to a lot of things in contrast to other countries.
Right.
I mean, technology. You want to go to Japan. You want to go to China. Right. You want to go to resources. You want to go to Africa, right? You want to go to anywhere south of the equator type shit.
Right.
And we really get the shitty end of the stick. I mean, when you look around the world, we
all
really
the time.
get the shitty end. We have the shitty end of the stick of a lot of things. But if you look at the media in our country, they'll tell us that it's dire over there. It's third world country. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it is. It definitely is and everything.
I had a friend. This is years ago. I was talking to on Yahoo Messenger, and that let you know how long ago that was.
That boy brought up the past. Like,
Man,
here we go.
Had a chick on there from Africa, and she was a business owner, and she lived in a neighborhood that looked like Bloomfield in Africa. Right? So now she and I'm like, damn, like let me see out the window. She put her webcam out the window of her house, and I'm like, what the fuck? Like this? Like what the hell?
Look totally different than what
the media project. That's over there. It's like, we fed a bunch of bullshit over here in this country.
Yeah. And I was reading, like you have like, I think one of the biggest things, and the name of the show is Understanding. One of the biggest things that I've seen that people be talking about majority of the time, this narrative that people over in Africa don't like fucking with the people over in the United States. Like black folks in Africa.
That's a narrative they create to keep us apart once again. Another more divisive material.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I remember I picked up several people, right? Now here's the truth, right? I picked up several people when I was driving Uber who were African that came over here to visit for whatever reason. You know what I mean? And they talked about how from the outside looking in, they looked at Detroit as the Mecca, like the blackest city in America. So they come in here, looking to connect with brothers and network and all of that. But they were met with people who looked down on them. You know what I mean? Like they were less than black people, or not treating them, like they would want to be treated, like they would have treated them. Right. I mean, so if there's any kind of divisiveness against or between black people in Africa and black people in America, it's because of the disconnect and the uneducated viewpoints.
Right.
That people are coming from.
Yeah.
We're looking at them, not me per se, but just in general, our people looking at them like they coming over here from a third world country and don't know, so almost like they homeless,
right? Type
shit. They looking at us like we can't wait to come and meet them and embrace our brothers and sisters over here in the blackest city in America, and we're not greeting them with open arms.
Yeah.
A lot of and it was like, man, I'm disappointed. One of the guys like I'm disappointed in And I'm like, man, it ain't like that. I felt embarrassed, you know what I mean, on behalf of black people in America, talking to this man from Africa who was looking forward to coming to a city like Detroit and meeting and networking with people, and was kind of met with some bullshit.
Yeah. And when I tell you, just talking to people, and I like to talk to people all the time. Mark, I met one of the most phenomenal dudes that I ever met in my life. Wednesday. His name was Mr. Clayton. Mr. Clayton was he was 90 years old. Yeah, 90 years old. He was born in 1932. Mr. Clayton is originally from Detroit. Now, normally when you meet people like that, they by way of Mississippi, Alabama, Texas, Arkansas. But I met Mr. Clayton. Mr. Clayton was 90 years old, originally from Detroit. Went to Cass High School. I talked to this dude for 2 hours. 2 hours, because the conversation that he had and the wisdom that he had was so mind-blowing that I let him talk and I shut the fuck up. This dude was talking about how he grew up off of Pequot Street. I didn't know. He was telling me how the Ford plant, because we started talking about how Henry Ford and everything. I'm like, well, Henry Ford stole everything that he could from George Washington Carver and everything. And he was like, well, George Washington Carver wasn't the type of dude to be flaunting and everything. And then Henry Ford was like the dude where he didn't start getting rich until he got to be like 50 and 60 years old and everything. And he started talking about Coleman Young. He started talking about the development of Detroit and everything. And we started doing that. By me and Mr. Detroit, I'm thinking I know everything. I didn't know shit, because this dude is 90 years old. He half the age of me. I
double your age.
What? Double. Yeah, my bad. Double.
You're half his age.
Yes. I shut the fuck up and I'm taking notes. This dude, I let him talk. And when I tell you his mind was like boom, 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 it was sharp. I'm picking him up from over the cancer center, and he was doing some kind of X-ray that they had over there. And I'm taking him to the front of the hospital, and he was like, "Well, I'm finna catch the Dexter bus." Me being the Dexter boy, I'm like, "I got you. I will you damn near down to from West Grand to Dexter. If we can just talk and everything." I should have got this dude number, man. But the conversation I had, it was. I ain't never had it. That was the best conversation I had this year with somebody that's like, when you say you owe. I never called that guy. When I was talking to Mr. Clayton, I never said, "Man, you old as hell," or "You old as fuck," or I never told him that, because the wisdom that he had, I'm like, damn, man. And he was like a walking story that, it wouldn't have stopped if the bus hadn't came. He would have kept going.
Yeah.
And, I enjoy that and everything. So, when you able to understand and just listen and not cut nobody off and everything, I definitely want to cut him off. I'll let him go and everything. So, that was the most phenomenal conversation I had and everything. So, it was just amazing that I was able to meet him and everything. So, and this is where like it get like real controversial right here, because we got like 15 minutes. So I was thinking like this, Mark. I was like, how you meet somebody and you spend time with that person. And I was talking to my sister about this, and so you got this woman and this man. I kept thinking, as much as you spend time with your woman, or as much as you spend time with your man, Mark, you're supposed to know your woman. You're supposed to know your man. Especially if it get to the point where you've been with them 10, 15, 20 years. In my mind, Mark, and call me crazy if you want to, you're supposed to know that person. Wouldn't you say?
So that amount of time, yeah.
So when you spending time with that person, and when you intimate with that person, and you making babies with that person, and you supposed to be able to, you look and say, okay, I'm gonna spend the rest of my life with that person. You supposed to be able to think like that person, thinking like you, and you thinking like them. You supposed to be on one accord, because people like, well, you're supposed to be on the same page. Sometimes you're not on the same page, and I be looking at relationships sometimes like, if I'm around you and you around me, think like me and I'm gonna think like you, because we on the same team. I'm like, why relationships be having hard times where they not on the same page? And I even have to, come to my wife sometime. I'm like, listen, I need you for sometimes think like me. If you know I'm going to bust this nigga in this shit, I need you to bust this nigga in this shit, because we together. My wife sometimes like, well, I don't want to bust him. That's not right. Okay, cool. That's not right. But so if I bust him in this shit and you look, is you gonna swing too? They not gonna swing. And so when I was talking to my sister, I'm explaining to her my situation, and she like, well, maybe you're not explaining it right, or maybe you're not giving her the information. Mark, if we're around each other for 10 years, dude, I think you should know who I am. You should pick up what I am. I mean, when we doing this podcast, Mark, when I'm finna go left. You be like, oh, shit, here we go. G finna say something. You like, okay, you didn't fire him up. And so I'm there. She was explaining to me that guys work differently than women. And so I'm like, but I'm around the woman majority of the time. I'm not around the guys majority of the time. I'm around the woman the majority of the time. So that woman and that man is supposed to be picking up different vibes. So we get into this deep, vibrational type of conversation. And, she saying, well, are you talking? Are you explaining to her what it's supposed to be? How you feel? Mark, once I tell you one time, 2 times, it might be 3 times. I ain't telling you no more, Mark. I'm not telling you, because it seemed like it seemed like I'm running around the block one time. I'm finna run around the block again. And I'm finna run around the block again. I'm like, how many fucking times I'm run around the block for you to understand, like, we got to run around? I ain't running around the block no more. So she hit me with the quote from a woman's standpoint that I think is bullshit sometimes, because this is what I need you to understand. And and I'm talking to my homeboy Los. He was like, dang, majority of the women, they don't want to take accountability of nothing, man. And so I asked him, I was like, so when women don't want to take accountability, so when I say the women, this is what the women do, you know what another woman tell me? Well, that goes both ways. I'm like, nigga, I'm not talking about me, I'm talking about you. And that's when he say, well, majority of the time, they don't want to take account, like they not going to accept it. And it's hard sometimes because I'm looking like, you not going to listen. If you're not going to listen, how long do we going to keep dealing with this? And you got certain dudes that would just deal with it. And you got certain dudes that deal with it and then get the fuck on and be like, I'm out. And so, we talked about this and everything, and she went back and forth, and, and it's just, in a relationship, I think as much time you put into each other, I think you're supposed to be alike. I'm supposed to be thinking like you and you thinking like me. That's simple as that. Now, if you can't do that, I don't think majority of the time, maybe you shouldn't be in a relationship. And some people shouldn't be in a relationship. Cool. That's cool. I think that's the best way of looking at it and everything. But for me, I want to be on the same plane. I think we need to be moving as a team, as a unit. And I was telling my brother-in-law, I'm team oriented. Majority of the time, I don't think women are more team oriented. Women are more like, okay, they see stuff for what it is, and then they try to analyze it and then overthink it. Because the majority of the women I know, Mark, they will overthink shit to the point where they'll overthink shit and fall off the cliff. Be like, that ain't what I said, man. Well, that's what I thought you said. Oh, you overthought some shit. All I said was just cook me some. You turn it to the cook. Oh, so you trying to say I don't cook? That ain't what I said. I asked you where you gonna cook, and that's where the
bullshit.
Yes. And I'm quick to look. My fault is, Mark, I'm quick to shut down. I shut down for about a week. I don't know about Mark. I don't know about G Fant. I'm king for shutting down because I don't like repeating myself over. And if I got to repeat myself over, I shut down for a week and I got to reboot. That reboot take 5 days, Mark. Most dudes, that's simp-ass niggas, they're rebooting in 30 minutes. And go right back in there like, hey, baby, and everything. I'm like, dude, you don't do that, man. You don't do that. But, that's me. That's me. And, my mother say I shouldn't be doing that. But, look, man, I say what I say, and I'm only going to say it one time. And as a man, I'm not going to repeat myself over, especially in a war. I know that I'm a leader. I'm going to say it 1 or 2 times after that. I'm not going to repeat it over no more. So, that's basically what it is and everything. And now my son is at home. We picked him up from college and everything. And it's like I got to retrain him over because some of the stuff that he came from college and now he's back home, it's like I got to tear all that shit down and rebuild him right back up so I can send him off again. Ask him, wash the clothes, fold the clothes. You think this dude fold the clothes? Hell no. So now I got to come in with the iron fist because I know my wife is not going to do that. So I got to come in with the iron fist and bring the pain like I normally do with love and get on his ass because she's not going to do it. So, it's just, it is what it is and everything. And we got 5 minutes, Mark. I need Golden State to win this game today.
Man,
I need Golden State to win this game today. I need Curry to go ahead and do his thug thizzle. LeBron gonna do what LeBron do. See, Tiff ain't so sports. We can talk about sports real quick. Now, who talking about sports? I need LeBron to do what he gonna do. I need AD gonna do what he gonna do. But I need Golden State to win this game.
I'll tell you exactly what I need to happen. I need Steph Curry to get over 23.5
No,
points.
hold on, Mark. Read your FanDuel right quick.
I need Klay Thompson to get over 15.5 points. I need Draymond to get over 4. All I need you to get is 5 points.
That's
Draymond.
it. That's it.
Just get 5 points.
And then you got
LeBron James, I need you to get 29.
And who else?
Anthony Davis, I need you to get 21. Steph Curry, I need you to drop out 5 3-pointers on him and shit.
Yes.
Anthony Davis, I need you to snatch down like 15 rebounds.
There we go.
And I need Golden State to win.
And if Mark get that joint, he gonna be feeling good, looking good, cashing good and everything. And then I need the Knicks. I need the Miami Heat to beat the Knicks. Abdul, I'm sorry, man. I don't need New York to win shit, man. I don't want New York to ever to win nothing. So I need the Miami Heat to beat the Knicks. And KD and them is out the series and everything. Denver is in it and everything. And Mark, Them Detroit Tigers, man.
Uh-oh, they back.
What? Bless you boys. The Bless You niggas don't want to talk about. You remember the Bless You boys, Mark? The Bless You boys, Mark. They started the season off 2-12. Them boys right now is in second place. They out there rocking niggas. They out there kicking niggas' ass and cashing checks. If you trying to go see the newest team that's in Detroit that's popping niggas, go see them Tigers. And I don't know if you're a baseball dude. I played baseball, so I got love for baseball. So, Mark, I'm posting about my baseball, and I'm posting about the Tigers whooping ass. Cats like, what? They bullshit. You ain't watching the game. But then these are same dudes that be dick riding the Lions, and they ain't won shit. The Lions' first game, you know they playing, Mark? Kansas City, the Super Bowl champs.
Oh, it's over.
You got crackheads out there talking about, tell Kansas City we got something for them. Mark, they got the New York, they really think the Lions is going to win the NFC. Like, they saying the Lions is going 12-5 this year. The Lions. Them Lion fans.
Who did they draft?
They picked the running back up that he might be good, but I don't know because he was hurt during the they picked the running back up. Then, Mark, they picked 2 white boys up from Iowa. They picked the defensive white boy. His name is Jack something, and then another dude. I can't think of his name. I'm supposed to write these dudes' name down because I had smoke for him. But they picked 2 white dudes from Iowa.
Man, so they have no improvement since last season, basically, besides the running back.
That's it. But
they think that
but you got these slappies and these analysts that think that played football for about 4 days, got their shit rocked, and they never play football again. You got these dudes think that they know all about football, talking about like these players is like, man, they good. Dude, the Lions is going 7-12, man. Hold on, that's 19. I gotta make sure. No, Lions is going 6-11, guy. They going 6-11. They gonna win 6 games. It's 17 games. They gonna win 6 games, lose 11. Somebody gonna get. And listen, I don't want to be. Something gonna happen. Some motherfucker gonna get injured. They gonna fall off. They ain't gonna do what they supposed to do, and dudes gonna be looking dumb. They got but they don't want. But when I say, hey, check out the Tigers. Tigers ain't. Mark, you heard it right now. And, Lord, I hope they win. Tigers going to the World Series, Mark. They looking that good. Tigers is going to the World Series. You heard it from Mr. Detroit at 7:59. And I'm going to repost this. The Detroit Tigers is going to the World Series in 2023. You heard it here. They said they was going to be in last place. They out there. They play Seattle today. Yeah, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. They play Seattle tonight. They might be playing. They playing right now. They playing Seattle. The Seattle Mariners today. They going to the World Series, man. And we gonna see you next week. G-Fant, get well with that weak ass system you got, and Tiff, party hard wherever you at, man. Get back, blew out, and all that good stuff and everything. Detroit, stand up. Yeah, Tiff. Yeah, smoke.
Warning. You are now tuned in to 7 Mile Radio. 7